Hey folks, got another POD Ninjas short video here for you. If you guys are following along, these are short, concise, and to the point videos that I'm putting here on my channel. What this one is a question that I was asked on a recent live stream about budgets for Facebook ads and print on demand. Hopefully you enjoy it, and without further ado, let's jump into it. Paulina says, can I know how much we need to set aside for Facebook ads? Thanks. So it depends, right? It's almost like the question. I love analogies, if you can tell. I come up with analogies for like everything, but it's almost like someone saying, "Hey, I want to be able to retire when I'm 50. How much money should I save every week, or how much money should I invest into my 401k every week?" Right? You could come up with 1,000,001 scenarios of how much money you should invest weekly into your 401k, but it all depends on how you invest it, right? And what you do with it, and then how it does, right? Like if you put it in bad stuff, it's not going to be worth anything when you're ready to retire, and then you're not going to be able to retire, right? So the same is true almost with like Facebook ads, right? Like theoretically, you can start with $100, and if that $100 produces sales, then all you needed was $100, right? Theoretically, though, you could start with $5,000 and not make any sales and need more than $5,000. You know what I mean? So I think for someone that's new to print on demand, like I would expect to start with like $250 and like be like expecting to hopefully break even, right? Like anything that you do, right? And like one of the key thing though is it just glitched. Hopefully you're still with me. The key thing is some people look at Facebook ads like they're a slot machine, right? They view it as, hey, if I put this much in and I do it in this way, I'm going to get this back. And then if they don't get that back, they say, what did I do wrong, right? And it's like, well, the answer is not as simple as what did you do wrong, right? It's more like it's real people that you're advertising to. You're really asking them to give you money, that kind of thing. So basically, the reason why I'm talking like that is because I would try to have a few $100s, a few hundred to get started, right? And I say get started by, yes, you could start with 100 or 200 or 300, and the first 5 products that you launch are going to knock it out of the park, and then you're going to make a bunch of money, and then you're never going to have to reinvest, right? But there's also people that you see them, right? They post in groups. They'll say something like, hey, I spent $2,000 on ads and I have nothing to show for it. Like, what do I do now, right? And that's because they rushed, in my opinion, they rushed into it. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't go through a challenge like this and understand like how to actually craft something that people are going to want to buy. But they also didn't take any time to learn about Facebook ads, right? And they didn't take any time to learn about what makes a store look good and what makes people buy when they come onto it, right? So I would say when starting with Facebook ads, like don't just make your stuff and go, right? Like really take the time. Like I talk a lot about Instagram, right? Like there's nothing wrong with getting your store ready to the point where you think it can work and then just focusing on Instagram, right? And not spending on ads yet, because with Instagram, you could grow organically and begin to make sales. Like one of the first stores that the first store that I ever sold was a store. I sold t-shirts. And it was based only on Instagram. I never ran ads for it at all. All I did was grow an Instagram account and post pictures and videos that the niche would like. And then I would sprinkle in photos of the shirts. And this was back in like 2017. And that store was making me like $5,000 a month by doing that. It's still a strategy that I recommend and teach today, is just growing Instagram accounts, right? Like you've probably seen them, right? Like if you go on Instagram and you type in like unicorn, there's probably going to be a unicorn page that has 200,000 followers. And imagine if you owned that page and you were selling unicorn products and then you could just post them on that Instagram page. You could make a lot of sales, right? You could do that in any niche, right? So you could focus on that, Paulina, right? If you're brand new, you have a couple $100, you're afraid to just go in and lose that couple $100. Like don't think of it like gambling though, because if you actually take the time to learn and do things correctly and set up your store correctly, like there's a good shot that it's not going to be gambling and you're not just going to be, I always describe it like people are pulling a slot machine lever, right? And like hoping, kind of like covering their eyes and like trying to see if they're going to make sales. Like if you do it like that, you're going to lose all your money with Facebook ads, in my opinion. right? If you take the time to learn how to understand what the metrics are and how to actually set up a campaign and build your store and that kind of thing, like you guys have taken the first step, right? You've basically signed up for the challenge and said, okay, I want to learn how to create a product that is going to spark emotion so that when people see the Facebook ad, they're actually going to get up off the couch to go get their wallet, right? Like that's the premise of this course, right? The same is true for ads and stores. Like, if you're worried about budget for ads, like jump into Instagram, build that up organically at the start, and then when you're feeling comfortable, and I'm not saying don't do ads. Like ads are the quickest way. Like if you have $50, like you can show that ad to 10,000 people. You know what I mean? So if you have a good product, those 10,000 people probably going to be interested in buying it, right? So it's a great tool, but it's not gambling. Is basically my point. Hopefully that, I know that was a long answer, but hopefully that